Now, I have lived without fuel gauges in the past. In fact, oh, so you'll be able to tell us if 5G melts your brains. I don't have a travel laptop that will benefit from a 5G network. Actually, I think my laptop that travels with us is still running. Oh yeah. The one before Windows 7. Hey Chappy Chapman, and welcome to the stream. Yeah, our phone, we're on Republic Wireless, and the way they set things up, okay, we'll do that first. I'm an idiot. Okay, we do that. We go to up to the sawmill, down to the gas station. Sounds good. We pay for what we pay is very low, but by contract we should, where possible, run our phones through Wi-Fi, which means they don't incur any expense. Which is okay when you're in a hotel or eating out, whatever. And then when we're on the road and can't log into Wi-Fi, then we'll connect through any cell network. So we don't, it costs us quite a bit if we want data while we're roaming, but data is kind of free if you're using a Wi-Fi connection, and all the cell phone calls go through the Wi-Fi connection too. Which does mean that the phone battery lasts longer because it's not searching for a signal. You're on the local Wi-Fi. Guess we'll go down the hill. But we've been kind of saying that we need to upgrade the PC we're using when we travel. I mean, most of the time when we started traveling, we used it for extracting video and photos from the digital cameras. So, and that's all it was really needed for. And then when we got home, we could take the photos and the video off the laptop and install them on the main PCs. So it was really just an expanded memory capacity for vacation stuff, pictures, videos. But as life has become more... is there another transport contract, or was that it? Ah, that was it. Okay, well, we're not going to get any baling contracts done. Yeah, as life has become more online, the PC demand has become higher and higher. And it's getting to the point where, a PC that takes 5 minutes to boot up and then wants to download 15 Windows updates. That's not good. And it's not the download that's the problem, it's the speed that the PC can process it. It would be nice if the puddles got bigger when it was raining. Maybe that's a thing. Obviously, as I've said before, this map isn't a seasons prepared map. This was the previous version of Oldstream Farm, and since the new seasons ready one requires a new game save, I decided I wasn't going to update until this playthrough was finished. Nope. Stay on. Oh. There we go. It won't fall off, hopefully. Also, since we have the expense of moving home at the moment, we're not out searching for new travel PCs. Because I work from home, I'm going to have to make sure that where we move to is electronically ready to receive me on move-in day. So let's speed up time a little bit since this is the last day. Mrs. Osa left the clothes out in the rain again. Ah well. Oh, now I did not check prices. Wheat. Wheat's going up in value. Wait for winter. The other thing I've got is soybeans, which they're just horrible. Sell them when we can. Awesome looking skies. Yeah, our SUV, we're having problems with, what is it, the tyre pressure monitor. I'm still not convinced. It was reporting a bad front left, and it turned out the front left was bad. Like someone had scraped the wheel and it was showing the ribbing, but don't think that was it, because it's still showing a bad front left and we have a new tyre on there. And sometimes it's not showing any report from the front left at all, and very occasionally the traction control light comes on. But I took it into my service guy and he said there is an outstanding not recall, but notice that the traction control computer needs to be reprogrammed, and that probably hasn't been done. So, is the rain letting up? I'm going to have to take it into a main dealer to get that looked at. Sprinkle of rain. Ooh. keep the time sped up. Previous was a cereal crop. So grass is classed as cereal, I guess. Now this field is growing oilseed radish. This one too. Wow, it's getting dark. It's getting real dark. Okay, let's slow down time. So this is oilseed radish grown. And it's still raining. Okay, let's go down to the house. Yes, we're not going to plant field 1 today. So, it's... what is the time? Damn. 6 o'clock. Okay, 12, 13, 14. Can I go 14 hours? 15 hours. Might just sleep that long. More rain. Winter has fallen. No, it's snowing. Oh. Oh, that's not good. And there's great demand at the spinnery. I don't think I have anything in the spinnery. Still don't have any stuff for the sheep. No, that's stuck on the wall. Okay, there we go. So, how does the sheeps feel? Okay, we need water, we need grass and hay. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay. Ah! Snow on the ground already. Darn. Interesting. Big area of no snow. So, while the snow is falling, we will put this stuff away. Yeah, I am not sure. It's interesting where the snow is settling and where it's not settling. Let's do the back. But we're not going to be planting field 1 this year. That a little further forwards. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, air temperature is -3, ground temperature is 1, so ground temperature is still warm enough to work. We have snow. And there is rain later. That's interesting. Let's check the weather report. So rain, thunderstorms. So temperature's actually coming up through the day. But we've got precipitation all the way. Tomorrow evening more snow, sun on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday I think should be beginning of spring. Winter 1, winter 2, winter 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, so Thursday's spring. So we've got a mild late winter. Oh, I left the thing out. Okay. Can I fill this up with grass? Still have some. Okay, we have 1900 litres of grass. Actually, at this point, the best thing to feed to the sheep is grass. Because were I to try it with hay, the hay would say, oh, precipitation, I will be destroyed. We could prove that. Let's try and get this in the shed. Okay. That's all they needed. Okay. We just need water. Since it's snowing. I'm going to put a tiny amount of hay in the back. Too much hay, too much hay. Stop, stop, stop. Okay. Yeah, there we go, 9632. Give it a few more seconds. It's not decaying that quickly, but it is decaying. Nine 631. Okay, let's empty that back into there. Okay, so per the normal game rules, you cannot harvest when it's raining or snowing or anything else like that. At this point, the ground technically isn't frozen. It's 1 degree Celsius, so I could go out there and cultivate or sow or anything like that, and it should let me, because as I said, the ground's not frozen. I didn't mean to do this, but we'll drive round. We'll put the trailer back in the shed. What else is there? Outside of that, that's all that snow really does. The main thing with seasons is this calendar. I'm playing with 6-day seasons. So there are 6 days each season. In spring, the green denotes planting, the yellow denotes harvest. So I can plant, if the ground is over 5 degrees Celsius, wheat through spring. Same with barley. Oats needs a little bit higher temperature. On this particular geo, i.e. climate area, I can't plant cotton because it requires 18 degrees C and the temperature doesn't get that warm. Canola again, 5 degrees Celsius. So I consider the wheat, barley, oats, canola are what I call a cereal crop, and they can be planted anytime during spring. Sunflowers, a little bit higher temperature and can't be planted at the beginning of spring. Soybeans and corn, relatively very high temperature and late spring or early summer. Potatoes, sugar beets, the same as wheat and barley. Oilseed radish can be planted all year round, or almost all year round. We can't plant it during winter. And poplars, we can't plant during winter. Now when it comes to harvest happens for the most part last 2 days of summer for the cereal crops. Where's grass? Oh, there's grass. Grass can be planted through most of the year and harvested through most of the year, but it takes about an entire season for the grass to be ready. So grass is dormant during the during the winter, and then first day of spring it will start growing. It will be fully ready to grow a season later, so first day of summer it will be at 100% growth. On the 6th day of spring it will be at 66% growth. So what you can do is do a 66% harvest last day of spring and then 100% summer and 100% at the end of fall. What I've done this year is I've planted oilseed radish in all but one field because it rained yesterday afternoon. That oilseed radish counts as a level of fertilizer when I plough it into the ground. So, and because over winter I can't do anything with the ground, having oilseed radish in the ground doesn't lose me anything, and it's a lot cheaper to use than solid or liquid fertilizer. Obviously, if you have manure from cows and pigs, that's free. But oilseed radish uses very little seed and gives you a level of fertilization, so it's well worth using if you can. Now, the other thing we have to watch is the weather, and maximum temperature, average temperature, and minimum temperature. So these are going to affect things like drying of grass to hay and various other things. Also, the higher the wind, the faster hay dries. The other thing we get to is frost resistance. Now, where's my oilseed radish? My oilseed radish has a very high resistance to frost once it's grown. So that oilseed radish up on field 4 is unlikely to be affected too badly by the snow. However, the stuff that's still in the ground as seed, I may lose some of it. Then you have drought resistance, which is when the soil water content is below 12%. Now, seeds need water. Young plants have a little bit better survivability. Older plants also a little bit better survivability. So let's turn the tractor's engine off. We don't need that running for now. So if we run up the back here, we have a very nice field of oilseed radish. which has germinated and grown and is now considered young oilseed radish. And if we pull out this, it tells us it's 100% grown, it's at 50% moisture, and the ground moisture level is 57%. So it's really not good for doing much field work because the tractor will sink into it because it's mud. And when it freezes, it's not going to be mud anymore. It's going to be just horrible. Now here, oilseed radish hasn't grown. Oops. So I've got oilseed radish 0% grown. Everything else is same again. The same should be true in this field up at the front. And obviously 2 and 3 are similar. So 0% growth. So what I don't know now is if this oilseed radish is actually going to grow. Or oh, we got weeds. How the heck did that happen? You should be dying. It's cold. Go away. Actually, we've got quite a few weeds in this field. Dang. I don't think those count because they're off the side. Also, weeds don't grow across the entire map. They sprout up in patches. So it looks like, is that grass or weeds? So this is grass, 0% growth. So the snow has basically destroyed the grass. So first day of spring it'll restart at 0%. Oh, actually, I know what we did need to do. We needed to feed the sheep's water. Hopefully it's not frozen. Okay, with that. Oh, and that baler was probably my worst purchase decision. Because I planted some wheat and barley and oats. I had a lot of straw. And it's worthless unless you bale it. You can sell hay and straw, but it must be in bale form. If it's loose, it's not worth anything. You cannot sell, well, you can sell grass, but they won't give you any money at all. So it's always best to turn grass into hay because it stores longer. Oh. That's good. And the ground is slippery. Now on the updated map they've actually moved the water to round that side of the shed where the sheep are running off to. And we've just emptied that container. That's sufficient. Oh, balls. And your food and water for the animals does not last long. It's good for about 48 hours before you have to refill it. Now they did want you, like in Farm Sim 17, they did want to force you to do it every day, but there needs to be a little bit of leeway because I might have work to fit in the morning and I'm not going to get round to feeding the animals until later. And they didn't want you to have animals dying out because you didn't have time to feed them 24 hours after the last time you fed them. Okay. So that's done. Yay! Power slide. There, yes. Now, okay, so the thing with growth is, let's turn the engine off and the lights off. Okay, if I pull up the map, okay, this just shows what's in the ground at the moment. So some guys over here have wheat. What's the light green? The light green's canola. There's some oats. There's some barley. So the 4 crops that you can plant during fall. Good evening, Nitro Ballistic 95, and welcome to the stream. So what happens is you plant stuff in the ground. If it is too cold, or the first thing that happens is you'll see these are just set registering as planted. A lot of this field is registering as planted with some actually growing. This is planted, this is growing, this is growing, this is growing quite a lot. So the light blue is cultivated, and so since these are planted, they haven't got around to germinating, and now the ground is too cold for them to start growing. Now there are 2 options here. Either the germination will fail, or it will start growing. And last year I planted oilseed radish in this field here, and I got a couple of small patches where it didn't grow at all. It failed to germinate. I also got, later in the year, I think in this field, we ended up with the ground comes back as harvested. It reports harvested rather than growing, and what that means is the ground got a little bit too dry and the crop there died. And so when the crop dies, you end up with little holes in the crop in the fields, and this screen will report it's been harvested. It hasn't, it died from lack of moisture. So of course, while all of that's happening, so I can end up with a field that the crop failed to germinate. Some of it died due to lack of moisture later in the year. And so you end up looking at it and say, well, maybe I don't need to bother entirely. This field here, he's missed ploughing that bit. Over here we have weeds in this field in dotted areas. And sometimes you just look at it, I'm looking at this and saying, well, there's 2 small patches of weeds in this field. Do I really need to worry about it? Because it's only minus 15 for that tiny patch, and how much in herbicide is it going to cost me to just squirt those 2 sections? You'll see here, that was a fail to grow. It died due to lack of moisture, so it didn't end up using up the fertilizer in the ground. There's a big patch there, there's another small patch there, there's another small patch there. So you end up not getting 100% yield from the field, but you get 3 levels of fertilization, which base game you only get 2. Still, next animal in point throw. Yes, we have growing sheeps, don't we? So I'm expecting some lambs before the end of winter, and this looks like it's getting quite deep.